It's turn 18 in this playthrough of Auburn Crown 0.4, and the Dreadworm continues to hold out, as does the Golden Carnate in the south. So let's have a look at the replay and see what happened. It's been discovered. It just depends, I should say, on how many other fleets, how many other ships he's got in the area. It doesn't look like he's got any, unless they're well hidden, which I wouldn't be surprised. So in the south, the forces of Imhotep and the Golden Carnate continue their attack against the Ancients, slowly wearing me down. I have been able to afford to put in some research, but that all takes time. I don't know how much longer I can last, so we'll just have to see. Croana has joined me. Excellent. That gives me some new gold pieces and units to play with. So only a militia lost, and what have we got? Mercoria, Nova Spes, and Insula Metis have all gone to the adversaries a bit, and we've interrupted some of his trade routes. Now the elves and Maelstrom, they are allies against the Dreadworm, but they are going to leave me at some point. One to sort out some problems back home in Maelstrom, and the others because the war will be finished, because they won't actually leave until Draka is defeated. So that's just to tell me that's going to happen. All right, so up in Ang Nord, the slow move towards finishing off the Dreadworm continues, and just having a bit of a look over here to see what else we've got going on with Andania. So the slow move towards finishing off the Dreadworm continues, and I don't want to rush things, so I am going to upgrade the Dwarf Elite, even though they are in fact quite expensive, and continue to move them down towards not Ymir Vale, Morbright. So just doing a little bit of scouting here, because I'm not sure exactly how he's got his defences set up, so I need to have a bit of a look to see. Alright, so that was silly. Ran straight into entrenched veterans and lost my attack, so my own silly fault. But I should be able to finish off these Sky Warriors, and I have, but I've left myself in a position where the Dreadworm can see me, and those giants are right nearby. So I would anticipate that the next attack will be against them, those elite troops, and I won't be surprised if they do in fact get taken out. But on the other hand, I do have 2 elite units coming from the east, and a third is in the production queue. And the elves continue to move forward. Just bring up my elites a bit closer and waiting for the third unit, or it's the second Ang Nord elite unit, to be added to the 2 that are already there. That should be enough to finish off the Dreadworm. It's just a matter of how much I lose in doing so. Right, that seems to be about it for those guys. The dwarves hold out. They mobilized before the attack against them was ready to start. That just helps them to be prepared. You would have noticed in attacks that have had a declaration of war made just before the attack that the defenders are not in any way ready to receive it, as they are after they've had one turn or thereabouts to start preparing their defense. So the dwarves have had that, and they will be better prepared. I'm not sure how long they're going to last, but longer. That's all I need to know at this stage. So I've got 3 chits that I can use there, and I definitely will, because 153 gold pieces means I can actually pay for them, which is quite handy. Sea princes, very good to have on the sea, as I've said before, so we'll try and get them a little bit mobilized. Interested in the war. It's a long way away from them, but still, trade routes and all that sort of stuff is important to them as it is to others. The gnomes of Jumrock. They don't have a great army, but they're fun to have. And research, well, don't have any points for Angnord, so I could increase garrisons, and I'm going to do that just because it takes up some of those gold pieces. And Angford, and supporting Moradon, we will upgrade their veteran unit. I'm just waiting for those veteran units to be ready to assist in the attack against Jotunheim. I don't really want to move too early, and I'd also like Thrangren to be on board as well. We'll see how they go. They may or may not be ready when I'm ready to attack. All right, down to the ancients, the very troubled ancients. Got weapons and armor being researched. That's good. And I got 277. That's enough for magic. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to take the risk of getting magic. The only risk, when I say a risk, the risk that things will go south for me before they actually get a chance to do much. All right. So the elites are the Golden Carnate elites are in strike range. So I'm going to strike. Let's see what they can do. It's nice that the Eagles have done something. Now the Fanatics will sacrifice themselves to take more of an attacking role. It didn't seem to do much. They've only been brought down to 7 points. However, I have done a bit of damage to the other veteran unit that's down there, and we'll bring another one in to do a bit more damage. So it remains to be seen if he's got enough strength left to actually continue that attack on Akros. He might. We'll find out next turn. But anyway, for now, I just want to defend and keep him out as much as possible. I'll move a veteran unit into the port there at Varden. And there's not much else I can do at this stage. Eventually, Nova Spege will mobilise as well, and then I'll have an attack from a 4th direction. Won't that be fun? Now, while we're scrolling around the screen, you can see that my opponent has taunted me and said that Mutimer is not going to war. The reason why they haven't gone to war yet is because the negotiations are still in place between them and Angford. Well, that's the reason for it. But in the game terms, the trigger of 40% has not fired yet. So when it fires, I will say yes, and then Mutimer will defend itself as best it can. Mutimer is not on the board yet, so we haven't been referring to it yet. It gets created when the Angford player makes the choice to fund them in their creation. Okay, so Crowana doesn't have any upgrades just yet, but when they do, I want to get them up and ready to go as quickly as possible. And I'll continue to try and move the others in my direction as well. So Mbaru and Xantu are the other two, and I'm just going to focus on one. That's how I've done it with this game. Sometimes I do all 4 of them at once. In this game I've gone for 2 at a time. and my fleet needs resupplying, and they're going to come down and just moor themselves outside the port, except for that galley there that can be upgraded. Alright, looking around at the map and seeing that everything is pretty much done, except for my fleet here that has been discovered by the undersea units, and I'll just move. Well, no, I was going to go out to the west, so I'm going to move them out there, but I'm not going to go directly. I want him to think that I'm going south, so go south first, just out of sight, then turn to the west. Move all of them over there, and hopefully they will be able to do some interceptions along that trade route. My ancient fleet, or fleet from the ancients, is coming back to port, but I still want to make it useful, and we'll intercept that trade route as well. And I think that should be about it for the turn. Right, let's end it and see what the result is. We have Mbaru is moving 25%, very nice. And we have our trade routes being interdicted as well. March in formation for Malkan, that will help in the long run. And this is the balance sheet. Thanks for watching. See you next time.